southern Spain, south of Jerez, headed for Gibraltar, which of course is British, Andalusia, and we have seen lots of windmills.
Or not, but we'll have a look. But definitely Great Britain. It remained in Gibraltar. Gibraltar will remain part of Great Britain.
Rock of Gibraltar, the water is very clear, it's very windy.
On the right, and this little town is called La Línea. La Línea was this sort of forgotten stepsister kind of a town with not a lot of work for the people. And so when they shut the border, it was really a financial disaster in La Línea for many years. It was there because of the relationship with Great Britain. In Great Britain, you have a tremendous Indian community because Portugal and England, from the time of the marriage of Philip of Lancaster to King João of the House of Avish, when those two got married, they signed a treaty that they would protect each other. And it was kind of a slap in the face for the Portuguese to lose that, but at the same time they were saved by the British. But General Wellesley came to defend them against Napoleon.
Here's the border.
We also employ 2,000 Euro workers, i.e. maybe German or whatever. So there's 10,000 cross-border workers across this frontier on a daily basis. It's one of the very few runways where you're allowed to drive across it. Right? Before it used to be a horse race track. The Second World War, they realized they needed an airstrip, so they reinforced the horse race track and landed it to 6,000 feet. And that takes a Boeing with extremely good brakes. With nothing on either end, as you can see. 2.3 square miles.
250 million years old out of limestone.
It looks solid, but it's not. It's got over 33 miles of tunnels inside the rock. And we will, of course, be going through one of these during the course of the tour to give you some British overseas citizens. Now, having said that, they speak a language here called Chanito. And basically all it is English and Spanish, but it's all mixed up. Alright? And they nicknamed it Spanglish.
Walls were built first by
and each and every opening on top of the walls used to have cannons for the sieges that Gibraltar's been under. Gibraltar's had 14 sieges. The greatest of those, 1779, 1783. This is when the French and the Spanish went into coalition forces to defeat the British off the rock. Well, that was a waste of time, wasn't it? Because we're still here, when they ain't. These are what we call the sea defense walls. Because everything from those walls, this side, is reclaimed land from the sea. But it's been there a very long time. That wall's been there since 1540. At one time, ships used to come in this area here, and basically what they would do is replenish the ships. And they used to do it with a rugged staff.
1704, Captain Joffrey stepped ashore at Gibraltar.
Schooling in Gibraltar is the same in the United Kingdom. The curriculum is the same. The only thing is, Gibraltar's got no universities. So when a child reaches that age and they got the qualifications, then of course they go to a university of choice in the United Kingdom. On your right, that is Morocco. Alright, North Africa. You can see the big mountain there, but that's Mount Musa. And between Mount Musa and Gibraltar, they are the two pillars of Hercules. Okay. We get our drinking water from the sea, we bring up the salt water, and the process starts all over again.
So the king of Saudi Arabia built this mosque here. Gee, do you suppose there's any political message to that? Like this ought to be Muslim again? This is a historic 19th century lighthouse at Europa Point. This is the Harding Battery, built in 1859. The Sikorsky Memorial honors one of Poland's leading generals of World War II, who died here in a plane crash in 1943.
I think so, because for the last 300 years they've laid claim to Gibraltar. But you cannot have a treaty or a government sitting around a table to discuss what nationality to be. It's got to be the people that must decide that. So in 1967, they held a referendum on whether the rock should stay British or whether it should be handed over to Spain. Now, out of a total of 12,000 people who voted in that referendum, only 44 voted that the rock should be handed over to Spain. All communications with Gibraltar and withdrew all his labour. That happened overnight. And of course, he said that if he closed that frontier, the people here would scream out and become Spanish. He was very much mistaken. The people here are extremely English or British, and they will not have it any other way. The only reason it opened was because Spain wanted to go into the Euro. Cadiz in Trafalgar Bay. And of course we all know that Lord Nelson was killed during that battle, but his ship, HMS Victory, was severely damaged. And she came into port directly below you here, what we know as Rosia. But while HMS Victory was being repaired, Lord Nelson's body was pickled in a barrel of brandy to preserve the body for the journey back to the United Kingdom. And of course, when the actual body with the barrel, or the barrel with the body in it, actually arrived in the United Kingdom, the brandy had disappeared because the sailors drank that brandy on the way back. If you buy anything inside the restaurant to eat, make sure you consume whatever you buy before you come out.
Here's a column that goes all the way from the ceiling down. Some little stalactites. More over there, that's called a curtain wall. Old concerts in here. Here's our duty monkey. Doesn't look hungry at all, looking for food. There's two monkeys right here. There's Mama and baby. Baby's sleeping.
And the Moors held it for 800 years. Came to Gibraltar, they destroyed the castle that the Moors had built. It wasn't built very strong and they quickly destroyed it. But the Moors never gave up. It's off the rock. And once again,
1333.
Gibraltar became Moorish. And they built another castle on the same site as the first one, but this time they built a lot stronger. The tower on it, which we call the Tower of Homage, is a solid block of masonry, except for 4 small rooms right at the top.
1333, built by the Moors.
Now the walls of that castle, if you can imagine none of that reclaimed land being here, the walls of that castle would have gone right the way down to the sea. And they are known as the Northern Defences. We'll say we're going down into the oldest part of Gibraltar now. This was first inhabited up here. Nice. But it doesn't make any difference what creed you are. Somewhere in Gibraltar you'll find a place to practice your religion. This church here is Roman Catholic, and it's called the Sacred Heart, and it was built by the Maltese. It could be a mosque, no? It was never a mosque. The only reason it's built like that is because after the Great Siege, there was very little in the city of a Moorish occupation. We have 4 synagogues in Gibraltar dedicated for the Jewish community, 7 Roman Catholic churches, 3 Church of England. We also have two Hindu temples. Oh, we got lots of religions here. This monument that you see to your front left, this in actual fact is the First World War monument. The cannons on either side of that monument, they are Russian cannons from the Crimea War. Those cannons were a gift to Gibraltar. That was built in 1932. Okay? That commemorates the coalition forces between the Royal Navy and the American Navy in the First World War.